Hey there, y'all. Figured I'd come out with a quick video here. Been a bit since I put one out. Um, just wanted to go over, an IPO that we had today. Real nice. Couldn't have been any better in my opinion. Um, I did personally get in on this one, and yes, the fact that I didn't notify it was absolutely intentional, and I'll go over why. Now, the IPO today, ticker INHD. This was Inno Holdings is the name of the company, and ultimately, there's nothing special about the company. There was nothing special about the IPO. It's just kind of your standard, hunk of junk, um, you know, uh, debut. So, anyway, with this one, it was a cheap $4 IPO. So it was like, well, if it tanks, oh well, if not, great. We'll see what happens because as of late, the last couple few months, the IPOs have, they've just not been performing, and I know the reason why, and that's just because they've been being manipulated right out of the gate, and that kind of ties into what we're going to go over here. But INHD, it opened up big, and it ran up to $20, and I capitalized really, really, really well on that. Um, and a lot of people, they didn't get in on this one. I know they didn't, um, and they wasn't paying no attention to it, and I'm kind of glad for that in all aspects because you know. It's come to my attention that a lot of the YouTubers and influencers, whether they realize it or not, they are being carefully watched and monitored by the powers that be, which are wicked and corrupt, and they manipulate everything. And it's entirely the U.S. government, and I fully expect that they're going to be seeing this. So, ultimately, uh, when you have a bunch of influencers on the internet and they're, going over certain tickers and certain companies, and this is what, these people are doing, and this is, what I'm kind of looking at, and blah, blah, blah. Well, ultimately, the government wants a certain outcome for, certain intended purposes of their own. None of them give a shit about you or me or anybody else, and I don't care what party they're from. If they're Democrat, Republican, they're all fucking wicked, and it's coming to light. It's kind of slow progress in my opinion. I've been preaching this crap for 20 years, so I know better, but most people don't. They just fall into the bullshit. Um, but the reason those IPOs, every IPO that I've gone over, um, they should have been awesome successes. There was no reason for them to have not been, and most of those, it just wasn't just me that was, reading over them and giving an opinion. There was others as well. Some of those people agreed with my assessment and some didn't, and yeah, it's just what's expected. Um, but I do notice that there is, a certain amount of uh, my videos, they don't really get out there much, and it's not like I have a lot of followers or anything. Um, but there is a certain amount of censorship on the internet, and even on Twitter. Still, I know that people think that Twitter is this great free speech platform where that you can just say anything you want. Well, no, that's not true at all. Theoretically, if we had free speech, ever had free speech, we'd be able to say whatever the hell we want, whenever the hell we want, and not have any repercussions for it. And, whether you agree with whatever somebody is saying or not. So there could be a KKK member over there preaching up the fact that, he's, you know, uh, he's superior to everybody else or whatever. It's like, okay, I disagree with you, obviously. However, you have the right to, act like a fool and dance in the street and scream whatever you want. Um, so that's what pisses me off about all these protests going on, in the world right now, especially, in those damn Brits. They've just always been tyrants. And unfortunately, the USA never got away from the Brits, but they've been clamping down on uh, protesters over there big time. And people, they have the right to say what they want, and they're harming nobody. Um, and ultimately, what we have today is corrupt, tyrannical government, and the only way it's going to go away is if the people topple it over and pull these people out into the streets and get the fuck rid of them. That's just the fact of the matter. But anyhow, back to my original point here with INHD. It's like you know nobody talked about it. You didn't hear about it, so it performed really well. Well, that's kind of what you know. That's the outcome the government wanted, not what the people wanted. You would think that a stock, an IPO that literally has, no conversation around it, something that, has no special nothing about it, um, would just do dirt poor on day one. And it would be the thing to tank, down to $1 or $2, on day one. But however, it's the exact opposite, and we have something that it ends up being a 400% runner. Um, More 500% technically. Um, so it's absolutely insane, and it did it on low volume too. The last time I looked at it, it traded just over 600,000 shares. So it opened up high, and then it bombed up even higher, and that was with nobody paying any attention to it. So I don't know. I'm just calling it as I see it. Uh, it's That's basically the reason why I've just kept my mouth shut about IPOs for the most part. I think just here going from here out, uh, I'm just not going to really talk about too many IPOs, at least not ahead of time at all whatsoever. Um, if you see me mention an IPO or anything for that matter, it's basically going to be upon uh, you know certain pretenses and a certain time frame. And if I drop it, it's going to be at best 12 hours prior to the IPO debut. Doesn't mean I'm going to drop it exactly 12 hours before. It might just be a couple hours before. I'll give you a short notice, just because I don't want the criminals in the government that watch me and every other YouTube influencer out there to get their way and have their way with things. I want to see them lose big time, and I want them out now. And I'm sick and tired of the bullshit. And we have a Second Amendment for certain reasons, and eventually that Second Amendment is going to be used in ways that America never thought possible. Um, Anyhow, just wanted to go over that real quick, and get that off my chest and out of the way a little bit. Um, if you were in on INHD, let me know in the comments below. I'd like to hear how much you made, or percentage wise, about what you ended up with. Uh, I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna talk about what I ended up with. Um, but I'm plenty happy with it. Uh, Anyhow, so next big IPO, I guess just I'm not gonna make like a a video about it. Most likely, I'm just gonna upload a short video. First thing in the morning or something. I don't know. That's if I even bother doing it. Um, but if you want any idea of the ones that are listed now, um, I have made videos about some of the ones that are currently up as far as pre-order. And you can go back and watch those videos if you like, or just see what I have headlined or whatever. That's up to you. Anyhow, I'm gonna leave it there. I got other shit to do, and y'all have a good rest of the afternoon.